Welcome, everyone. My name is Kevin Hurley, and welcome to the Hurley Investments Market View Commentary for Monday, the 1st of June, 2020. I'm going to start off with a bit of a story tonight. Friday, Saturday, worked a couple boys pretty good, cut down some more trees, and got the news that a friend had passed away. In fact, it's the mother of a friend named Jared Allen. Terry Allen passed away. And I decided I was going to come down to California for her funeral. Her son, she's actually the stepmother, but basically raised Jared. Jared was my friend through high school, Navy SEAL, and passed away in service. I appreciate his service. So I wasn't going to miss coming to his mother's funeral. Short answer, had to drop off some wood up above Salt Lake, drove on down, 11 and a half hours. I arrived in San Clemente, California to the Surf Break Hotel. No sooner do I get here then a guy gives me a card and some girl basically looks at me because I said, you know, your parking spots are kind of small here. I just have a Ford F-150 pickup truck, full size back so we can sit my boys in the back, and an 8-foot bed. I mean, nothing too special, right? And her comment was to me, "Are you some old Utah gun-toting hippie cowboy?" And I kind of look at the guy that works here and says, you know, I feel like I'm getting ambushed here. And the guy just kind of crunches his shoulders together. And he looks at me like, what am I supposed to do about it? And of course, I'm looking at him going, well, what am I supposed to do about it? Now, it may have been that apparently I'm some old Utah gun-toting hippie cowboy because I was wearing my Second Amendment cap and a t-shirt. I mean, I'm just driving, for crying out loud, 11 hours. The purpose of the Constitution is to limit the power of the federal government, not the American people. I'm just casually driving with a pair of camouflaged hunting shorts, and you know, this is how I showed up. As I sat there and I thought about it, that's me last night. I guess I look old. I don't know how I'm a hippie. I mean, my hair's like short on the sides. I swear to you, there's no man tail or whatever they call the stupid thing on the back. I do a number 2 all the way up. It's like, what, 1/8 of an inch? And where I'm going with this is she took that impression and said, you know what? This guy is ridiculous. And maybe it's because I was coming in to the funeral, camouflage bag, camouflage shorts, my boots, got my funeral suit, so to think. So this was her first impression, right? Apparently, if you wear this shirt, you look like that, you've got your suit, your boots, a camo bag, that makes me some old Utah gun-toting hippie cowboy. So I took my first run of stuff up to my room, and I came down, and her next comment was, and just stupid. Well, what do you need an AR-15 for anyway? And that's a point where I just went, oh, you idiot. So very politely, I said, ma'am, why don't you walk out to my truck? Well, your truck's so big and it's taking up space. And I asked her, well, what should a truck be? well, you know, you don't need an 8-foot bed, you only need a 4-foot bed, and I mean, she literally gave me the most preppiest version of a truck that you need. And I kind of giggled because I said, well, a real man's truck bed looks like that. And that's after we've hauled some dirt and some hay and boy, I think we may have even done a couple smaller cows. I was hoping it would all blow out the back of the truck, but I said, you know, welcome to a working man's truck. I'm sorry my truck's not so pretty for you. But when it comes down to it, there's certain things a man will use in his truck. Now, of course, I didn't want to tell her, hey, I bring my fishing gear because on the way back, I'm going to be passing by St. George and there's a Quail Creek. But it's funny, she looked at it and her comment was, what the hell? I said, well, you know, when you're really working, and if you're up on 400 acres trying to run some cattle around, you normally have a tarp and a gallon of water. So when your truck is stuck somewhere, you can get out of the heat. You've got some water to drink. Couple ropes, pair of gloves, bolt cutters. What do you need bolt cutters? Well, getting back to your original question, what do you need an AR-15 for? For myself, we use it to scare off coyotes, to shoot and kill mountain lions, to shoot and kill bear if we need to. We have the bolt cutters because occasionally you'll get a cow, a calf, trying to jump a fence and get caught in barbed wire. More often than not, you'll have a deer or an elk or a moose that you'll have to cut their horns to get them out of the barbed wire or put them down. Usually carry an axe, 16-ounce hammer, a hum strap in there, a chain. There's a lot of things you need to be prepared if you're going to run cattle over any distance of area. So as I looked at her, I said, well, just to let you know, you will never need a gun in your life, except for the policeman that you're going to call to use it. For those of us that do some real work that support your sissy little ass, we use guns in all kinds of different ways. But we use tools in all kinds of different ways. Welcome to what a working person can use for tools. Of course, she then had to say, and I know what she was thinking, you sissy boy. Why do you have eggs in your truck? So I had to admit, yes, I've got 2 dozen eggs. A dozen or a half dozen of them are duck eggs. I have driven 2 dozen farm fresh eggs down from Utah to give to my mother-in-law. It was shocking to see her realization of what a gun can be used for. It was shocking to see her as she looked in my truck. All she saw were weapons. I guess if you're a little California prissy little gal, it never comes to your thought process that a gun could be used to protect yourself or livestock. A gun could be used to put someone down. That you need bolt cutters. Her version of bolt cutters is I was going to break into someone's storage unit or something. No, you actually use it to cut off the horns of animals that get caught up in barbed wire. You know, a chain, a tarp, a gallon of water. All these things were foreign to her, yet she thought she was the expert on guns and what I guess what some Utah old hippie cowboy apparently looks like and is in her mind. Now, I'm bringing this back because a lot of us have some preconceived ideas on the stock market. And some of the things that normally come up are, well, it is going to come back, right? I think the number one verbiage that you hear from someone that is a supposed expert in the stock market is, well, it's going to come back. And I'll be honest with you, most things do come back. Rig probably won't come back. It sure is taking a hell of a long time for Ford to come back. I'll be honest with you, BlackBerry will never come back to its highs. Bear Stearns went out of business. WorldCom, I mean, there's a bunch that have gone out of business. But yes, most things are going to come back. So the question is, if most things are going to come back, what the hell are you doing hiring the expert to tell you what you already know and that does nothing to help you when big drawdowns occur to your portfolio? I mean, I wanted to shoot this little girl. I'm saying little girl, she's probably between 40 and 50, 5'2", weighs maybe 95 pounds soaking wet. Apparently my shirt offended her. Apparently if you dress in a t-shirt and a Second Amendment hat, you are some old Utah gun-toting hippie cowboy. I still don't understand the hippie part, right? She has no clue what these tools are. I'm sure she knows what an axe is, a hammer, bolt cutters, but I guarantee you she would never use them in her life. She wouldn't think about having gloves, some extra rope, a tarp, a gallon of water. Those are protective measures, things she would never carry in her car. When it comes to trading in your portfolio, some of these tools could be stop losses, mutual funds, diversification, options, long puts to act like stock ownership. There's all kinds of things that you can use in the stock market. In fact, in all honesty, there are a million ways to skin a cat. But the most common way is to be your best friend till they have your money. And at that point, the most common answer when the sheesh hits the fan, right? When the sheesh hits the fan, well, don't worry, it's going to come back. And most of the time it will. But what are you doing hiring the expert that once they get your money, put it into some diversified fund, and then their job is over? Why would you do that? Why would you go through the pain, and I'm going to use the last 6 months, of seeing Apple in February hit 326, go all the way down to 212, lose 35%, to then bounce back up to 324.24. It came back. So I guess the short answer is, right, for 1, 2, 3 months, What did your portfolio manager do for you to earn his 1% plus commissions for putting you into a fund? Now, for those of you, some of you are new here, we have a new Jim visiting us today. Glad to have you. At Hurley Investments, we're not perfect, but I'm pretty sure at 320-ish, somewhere in this range, we bought some insurance so that as Apple fell down, we could make up almost 80% of that downward movement. Why is that important? Well, there are a number of stocks that look absolutely ugly. Boeing fell from 347 down to 142. It's nowhere close to 350. The neat thing is we did an amazing job protecting it from 300 all the way down to 200. In fact, for that $150 drop, we basically made up every single penny, or we made up $50 on a 47.99 drop down. We made up a couple dollars more. Now, we did not do so good from 200. I guess so. Let me rewrite this. Sometimes you got to put on those glasses, right? Did a fabulous job down to 200. We did not do such a good job from 200 down to 180. In all intents and purposes, we 100% missed a $20 drop. It was not supposed to break below 200. In fact, we expected to bounce higher because it was such a long level of support. We missed $20 to $25 to the downside. And then we got our protection back on that 175 and rode it down. Pretty neat when from 380, if you go back to the November, right? You have a stock that you got in at 380, go all the way down to $89, and you can make up, that's a $290 loss. You can make up $260 of that downward movement, where it can go from 300 shares to December to 1,100 shares today. Everyone else just gets to watch a $380 stock from November of last year be worth $142. You've still taken a $240 hit on your stock. If you're with the Wells Fargo, if you're with TD Ameritrade, Schwab, I can name a ton. Don't worry, it's going to come back. Don't worry, it's hurting your fund. It's going to come back. It might be years for Boeing to come back. Expect more out of your money manager to make up some of this downward movement using some other tools that are available to him, but that take some extra effort to get there. Baidu. Just to let you know, we were in Baidu up at 288 at the highs. We've had some people get in at 250. Right now, the stock is trading at 107.10. Don't worry, it'll come back. For crying out loud, if you're down $143, it might not come back anytime soon. Is your money manager doing something other than telling you, don't worry, it's going to come back? You don't need to be paying someone a 1% fee plus commissions to gather your money, put it in a fund, and tell you, don't worry, it'll come back. Well, Kevin, how do I know if I'm in a fund? It's simple. If you have a point and then some percentage of a share, 0.12, 0.25, 0.50, you can't own a half a share, a fourth of a share, a 1/23rd of a share. If you see your investments listed like that, you have a money manager that doesn't want you to know that you're in a fund, has clicked on one button to show the positions within the fund, but you're still in a mutual fund that's you're getting charged ridiculous rates for, that you have the ability to own point some odd number of shares because it's a fund. It's just floating or dividing the pieces around. It's ridiculous. You just went through a 35% loss or more to be told, don't worry, it'll come back. These guys no longer work for you once they've gathered your money. Disney, 147 to 79, basically lost half its value. Did they pick up any extra shares? Dollar cost averaging without having you pick up more, without having you deposit more money into your account. Did they put some insurance on at 140? So when it got down to 180, they could add 20, 30, 40% more shares of stock to your account without asking you to put more money in? Or are they stuck telling you, hey, don't worry, it's going to come back? Disney probably will come back, but it's only at 114, 118-ish today, 118.77. You still have 20 bucks till it comes back. It still has a 10% run up till it can come back to where it was. Yes, it probably will. But that doesn't mean you should sit through all this pain and be paying someone to tell you, don't worry, it's going to come back. I'm going through our core positions. Disney sucks. Disney lost over 2/3 of its value. It's still down half its value basically from $11 from last year. Facebook, guess what? Facebook has come back and gone farther. Yes, there are times it will come back. But if you've noticed, this is not the norm. This is your first one that, yes, it has come back to $31.91 today. That is $7 higher than the highs in January or February. Congratulations on having 1 out of 100 or 1,000 that come back. I hope you felt really comfortable when 224 was worth 137. Don't worry, it'll come back. That doesn't help you in any of this 4-month period of time. Why are you paying them? I think I've got 2 more here. Under Armour, guess what hasn't come back yet? $9.26 is where it closed. It's still losing half of what it traded in December and January. Last one, another great core position. Dang it, should have been Visa. Let me get Visa in there. One more great stock. Don't worry, it's going to come back. It's a recession-proof stock. People don't have money. Guess what they do? They stick it on their credit card. 213 down to 133. $80 drop, $80.10. Don't worry, it's going to come back. And it is. But what have they done for you? Again, as I met this little girl last night, you should expect more out of people, i.e., policemen, brokers, freaking busybodies who bug you at 9:45 p.m. after you've just drove 11 and a half hours. I know people are stupid. I get it. We see it every single day. It was shocking to my boy to see riots in Salt Lake City. Part of me wanted to say, well, don't worry, it's just George Soros hiring a bunch of people to come cause a problem. Part of me wanted to say, hey, don't worry, we've got lines of sight around the house. If they try to come into our house, nothing a bullet won't stop. Probably not the best thing to tell a nervous son or a boy right now with everything we have going on in our country. But don't worry, it's going to come back. Don't worry, Tad, it's nothing but a thing. Don't worry, it's only a bunch of people vandalizing and destroying property. That doesn't cut it for me. It shouldn't cut it for you. We have worked too hard. We have come too far. We are not a nation of people that should accept, don't worry, it's going to come back. Don't worry, it's nothing but a thing. Don't worry, it's just a bunch of stupid people. Don't give people the ability or the excuse to be stupid. Expect more. People can't get to where they want to be if they don't put the effort in. I found a really interesting article, and I'm kind of hooked on this little military thing the last couple months. I have one of my boys, my third son was named after Jaron Allen, a Navy SEAL, one of the SEAL Team 6 members who passed away, I believe it was 2003 or 4 in Afghanistan. Interesting article. Navy SEAL gives top 5 reasons why you get kicked out of special ops training or you don't reach any of the goals that you have. Lack of motivation and not having a why. I have not gotten to where I'm at because my why is I want to be rich and make a ton of money in the stock market. That's not a strong enough why. That is an egotistical why on, well, I guess I want to, get through because it'll be cool if I'm a Navy SEAL, if I'm a Ranger. Your why has to be your motivational anchor. If you are coming from an education and you want to learn to do this and have it be a job, a second job when you retire, see Dr. Gupta here, I know he could do it. Your mindset has to be something to get you through making a mistake. Well, Kevin, when did you make your last mistake? Guys, we all had protection on Disney for what Trump was going to say about China. We put it on in the morning, we took it off in the afternoon. Disney was up slightly, but it didn't make up what we lost on adding protection, the right to sell your stock up at 120 for Disney or 115. we lost $1 almost on an insurance on your stock ownership. Instead of giving in our portfolios, boy, in our portfolios, I guess this is more in my portfolio, right? What I manage just for the students. What am I doing? Disney is Disney. Disney here is $1,990,999,530, or a core holding in portfolios. Pardon me, I didn't feel like risking $2 million in a portfolio on Disney. Where else do we have here? Market value. Apple, $2.7 million. We felt like putting some protection on, not risking $2.7 million. I'm going to say Visa should be a core holding. Visa's $990,000, a core holding. Under Armour, $388,000, a core holding for the smaller portfolios. We don't just let it ride. We're going to put protection. We're not always going to be right. We're going to make mistakes. But I would much rather make a mistake and err on the, I guess, on the wrong side, and know that I've got you protected on the way down, that I can take away 96 to 97 of the total risk in your portfolio off. I told you it bothers me. What a bummer. S&P up 38, right? On Friday, S&P was up and we were down. Nice to have an over 1% up day on a 0.4% down day. You have these opportunities. When you have a broker, you know, I like to say that Keith, Jeff, and I use the Warren Buffett approach. When you have a broker that will go seek out individual stocks that are undervalued, to give you the opportunity to be in positions that can outbeat the market. On a day like today, most funds were only up 0.3, didn't even get the 0.38. We're up 129,000 on 12 million, you know, 1.1%. Nothing more than money coming in and coming back into some undervalued positions. The why. Why do you do what you do? Is it because you're sick and tired of being taken? Is it because you want to do it yourself? Do you have a why that's going to push you through the down days? Do you have a why that will be compelling to those that you work for or work with? Reason number 2 on why people might not hit their goals, right? I think it's mainly about being physical, and mindset has no benefit, no effect. Your mindset of protecting people's portfolios, I'll tell you exactly what it is. Every 4.2 years, we go through a market crash. We were 3 cycles, or exponentially, we were 12 times the normal risk at having our market crash, having it come down 35%. Pretty interesting. I had some people that put some new money with me, about $2.5 million beginning of the year. My mindset, do I have benefit for my clientele? $2.5 million came over. You know, if I was smart, I would have stuck it right in so I could start charging them. $2.5 million for me is about 50, 65,000, $62,500 a year. My mindset, how can I best protect their money? I don't charge till I have them up by 5%. I didn't put all their money to work the beginning of December, the beginning of January, the beginning of February. The risk was too high. Pretty neat to be able to get people's money in at a low. Didn't hit the bottom, but it's really neat to have some people that are up in their portfolio almost 5% up to 8 or 9% year to date, while the market's still down 7. My mindset, how can I best protect my clientele's money? Because you know what? Sometimes some things don't come back. Do you think relying on your mental outlook is all you need? You know, I'll be honest. Sometimes I think I know it all. But thank goodness I protect stock ownership using an option that acts like insurance. So when I don't know it all and I'm brought down to reality, I can learn. I'll be the first one to tell you, if you think your broker knows it all, has the market down, we've gone through like 28 different things that have never happened before in the last 10 years. Financial crash, oil spike, oil fall, you know, flash crashes, brokers with now circuit breakers that work, circuit breakers that don't work, Dodd-Frank. There is so much weird stuff that has gone on. 28 or 29 specific things that have never happened in our stock market. If you've got a guy that knows it all, he'll never reach your goals because he thinks he knows it all and that's all he needs. Number 4, I thought was pretty interesting. In fact, probably the most interesting. You don't let your team help you when you need it. For me, this was an eye-opener some years ago. And I've gone through, got 2 guys working with me right now. I've gone through 3 in the past. I have never been so disappointed with my team. And it all comes down to at times when my team is all about the I. It's all about the me. I am grateful that I've got Keeve and Jeffrey T. Smith right now. 2 people to hold me accountable. Primarily Keeve. Someone to say, hey, you know what? Have you thought about this? Someone that's a team-orientated mindset versus, hey, by the way, Kevin, I really kicked your butt today. Worst thing that I just despise when you don't help your team because you want to prove you're the best or the smartest. Unbelievable. We're all in this together. I've run these webinars for a decade now to help people help themselves and understand what the money's doing. You don't need to have everything combined for a solid framework. You need to work on what you obviously are the weakest on. And the bonus tip number 2, do you take everything personally the instructors say to you or that you have to do? I'll tell you, as Keith sometimes points some things out to me, it pisses me off. But I'm grateful to have someone that can say, hey, what about this? Hey, you know what? That was stupid. Hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? I'm sure as we manage your money, there's some things we say to you that we say pretty abruptly. Don't take it personally. It's just what we're trying to do to best protect your money. pretty neat. Pretty neat that if we take a peek at where we're at and the recap, we're almost into, it's all about news again, right? It's all about news. What are we going to do at China? When are we going to have a COVID vaccine? How did these guys just kill someone? It's absolutely ridiculous. But it was pretty neat to have a month that was up again 4.5%, especially being a May. Especially being a May, usually it's a sell in May and go away. Nice to see financials picking up where technology started to stumble. But COVID-19, China/Hong Kong, I guess we now have the Floyd debacle. There are a lot of reasons to be able to take a break or to sell off our markets right now. If you ask me where we're going to go this week, I'm actually going to, this was from last week, but let me get this corrected. In all honesty, I think we're going to be flat in June. We've had 2 pretty good up months where our market needs to take a breather, and we're probably just going to range just until the next earnings in July, in between the 50-day and the 200. Big money's already in. Big money has put their money to work already. I don't know what we're going to be able to do to keep moving higher. And I see that on all 3 indexes. On the S&P, we're probably going to rotate between 3,000 and 3,100. We're right in the middle. We just need to be range bound as we've had such a big move. Markets digest the moves. On the S&P 500, it's time for it to digest to build a base for a next run higher or lower. NASDAQ is one that's a little bit different. NASDAQ, I would tell you, will probably go lower. We're already at a really long period of having money being put to work. We're almost at the overbought line. We've run up so high, probably time to come back down and test 9,000 to build a base between 9,500 and 9,000 for a next leg up. Right now, if you were to look, your support level is the 200 and the 50-day simple moving average. You truly can't draw 3 points and say, hey, your support line is right here. Hey, it's right here. We just don't have enough touches to say this is where you're going to have your market fall back to. Technology is more at risk than everything else. As we keep going down for this week, I said June, we're probably going to be flat. That's my prediction right now. Zoom earnings happens tomorrow, pretty interesting, but nothing's really moving the markets this week. No big movers. Gap, DocuSign, Tiffany. I think we're kind of starting the first week of retail. Economic reports, big economic Friday, right? Construction spending, ISM manufacturing. By the way, construction spending came in not as bad as expected. It's supposed to be down 6.0%. It was only down negative 2.9, half as bad as they thought. On the ISM manufacturing, was supposed to be down 44, was down 43.1. Excuse me, that's wrong. It's supposed to be registered at 44. Anything below 50 shows contraction in manufacturing. It came in at 43.1. about 9/10 worse than what was expected. We'll have an ISM services number on Wednesday, which will be interesting. The services number is expected to be negative. It's supposed to be at a 41.8. Obviously, with a lot of small business being a service-minded businesses, will probably be worse. We'll probably have a worse service number in over 2 decades. Private payroll and their average work week reports. Shocking. Unemployment rates expected to be at 19.9. We'll probably be up to that 25. We haven't had people get to work like we thought. It could be even higher. Hourly earnings will probably go up because people are getting back to work, but that does not mean it's a benefit to the employee. Consumer credit. It'll be interesting to see if people are still charging up their credit cards. Pretty interesting. A lot of people have been saving. A little bit late to save, but I found a very interesting article that talks about the U.S. savings rates hits a record 33% as coronavirus caused Americans to stockpile cash and curb spending. Well, we kind of have been forced to not spend unless it's on toilet paper, right? But this alone shows that when you got that stimulus, pretty impressive. A lot of people have saved it and are probably waiting for some things to come back open so they can stock up for a possible second outbreak. It most likely did not go for rent, for food, for GDP numbers. It's been stockpiled for savings. Also found an article that stocks claw back their early losses as shares bet on the economy reopening. Really interesting numbers here for you guys to see where people are betting on the GDP. With that said, I guess, and that's it. With that said, are there any questions that you guys would like to ask me? Someone did ask portfolio construction right now. For the last month, we have been letting some things ride. We've taken a look at the market trend, and we are coming back. So it's actually been, what, 8 weeks, Keith? Didn't catch the bottom at 21, but by around 2,500, we started letting some things ride. We did have a couple things down at that 21.91 that we took protection off on. But for the most part, right now, things are unprotected. We're letting them ride higher. Dave, do you see any good deals on stock positions right now? Yes. I mean, in all honesty, I still think there are a ton, and it goes back to a lot of our core positions. You have Visa on a 10% discount. You have Under Armour on a 66% discount. Facebook, you don't have any deal on, but Ford is a discounted by half right now. Disney, a discount by 10-15%. Baidu, a discount by 50% from its highs. Boeing, a huge discount, although I don't know if I'd be in Boeing right now. There are still a huge number of stocks that are cheaper than they were back in January. So here's that little saying, right? Why, when things go on sale in the stock market, does everyone run out of the store? There are a lot of opportunities. One of the ones that we most recently put in for you is Bank of America. We ran into Bank of America. It's still 35.23 were the highs. 34.50 was the strong support. At 24.61, there's $10 in Bank of America. Key Corp, $22 in Key Corp. Huge opportunity. Morgan Stanley sitting at 44.70, get up to 56.16. Goldman Sachs sitting at 199.93, 247. JP Morgan 98.60, 139. Kevin, you're not mentioning the energies. Well, yeah, great opportunity, but there's no catalyst for oil. And for ExxonMobil to get back to 609 or 105, I'm not too keen on oils or energy. Has a ways to go. 119 to 103, it's doing much better than ExxonMobil. Not a great position to be in. Murphy Oil, 113, 27.50, 50% discount. Oil just isn't where it's at. That's not the one I was looking for. ConocoPhillips. 39, 39, 43.39, $65. Yeah. Valero. Yeah. Dominion Energy. Yeah. Energy's just not where it's at right now. So yes, there's some definite opportunities. Look at catalysts. I don't see it in an oversupply market with oil or energy right now. I just wouldn't be looking to put money into that point. Would you say the economic reports, such as job reports, have not made the market go down? If yes, what is the reason? Fed funding. So to a certain degree, no. The economic reports are not catalysts right now. The catalysts were the COVID numbers. So really, for the last 5 months, world-o-meter coronavirus. This was more important than our economic reports. Even though China's manufacturing is better, this has been the most important part right here. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for new cases. Is the US plateauing? Yes, we are right now. But this is what has run our markets. I pity the fools. We've peaked. Just kidding. No, we really have peaked. You see? Well, lower highs, lower lows. Oh, our real peak. Holy crap. See, we've peaked. We've peaked 4 damn times from these stupid experts that don't know how to read a damn chart. Higher lows or higher highs, but higher lows. Lower highs, lower lows. We peaked. See? Lower highs. Oh, oops. Higher lows. Oh, higher highs. Crap. We're going back up. Higher lows. Lower highs. I mean, we're just going to kind of trickle down here, and we still have another 8 to 12 weeks, and then we're probably in for round 2. It surprises me, the idiots that are trying to predict peaks and valleys, when if you just look at a chart, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days does not make a trend. Easy technical analysis, easy statistical analysis. Yet, man, you would think those dummies on TV are the smartest people in the world. Don't buy their garbage. Look at it for yourself. Tell me what you think. We're far from having a reasonable amount of daily cases. And I'll be honest with you, with our population, a reasonable doesn't worry me is in that 5,000 range, not 20 to 22,000. Still way too high, way too communicative, way too easy to catch, way too easy to spread. Again, it's a virus. Please don't think that we have a vaccine that cures a virus. We can't cure the flu. We can add antibodies to help your body fight it, but it is not a vaccine. We will never cure a virus called COVID-19. We'll just have antibodies to help our immune system fight it when we get it, just like when we get the everyday flu. With that said, yes, my daughter broke her fever last week, and the father and the two boys that my kids wanted to go swimming with 2.5 weeks ago are also on the mend from being tested COVID-19 positive. So, did I answer your question there? If not, give it to me again. But yes, to a certain degree, the economic reports are a short-lived blip. They are not moving markets like they have in the past. They probably haven't moved markets for 5 months now, at least 3. And occasionally individual reports do get some traction, but just haven't gotten traction like they used to. Great question. Let me know if I answered it for you. Now, the Fed funding, yes, the government's put in like what, 2.5 trillion? I know a lot of small businesses that will most likely go under because the Fed money hasn't been distributed in an efficient enough manner. Has been distributed, just not in an efficient enough manner that I am afraid that a lot of that funding that has not yet been distributed out will be the reason that we'll probably have a longer unemployment than we would expect. We are not looking for a V bounce back in unemployment. We will not be looking at a V bounce back in our economy because we won't have some of those businesses still in place. Some of them were still living paycheck to paycheck, overspent, too big of a lifestyle, and some businesses are just not going to come back. So because maybe that 2.2 to 2.5 trillion was not distributed out quickly enough, yes, it did go to some big corporations, which I'm not too worried about. That maybe saves more people's jobs. I'm just sad it wasn't given out to small businesses like myself that need it, or maybe have needed it in the past to pay their employees. So shocking how many businesses are truly getting their butts kicked. All right, hey, with that said, if you do have any other questions, please type something in. I hope this was entertaining. Be careful when you come to California. You too might be called an old Utah hippie cowboy, which I'm not sure I've heard those two together. And apparently if you have an extended cab and a full bed truck, you know, the 8 feet or 6 feet or whatever it is, right? 6 feet, I think. Your truck could be too big. All right, there are no other questions. Guys, have a wonderful evening. I'll do the best I can to get this posted. Expect more out of people. Don't be okay with stupidity. Don't be okay paying someone for not doing anything for you, but telling you it's okay, it'll come back. You don't need to pay someone 1% plus commissions to put you into funds for that kind of help in the stock market. You deserve more. Guys, have a wonderful evening. I appreciate your time. I'm trying to stall. I see no other questions coming in. Guys, have a wonderful evening. Keeve will take care of you guys tomorrow night. I will be at a funeral tomorrow and then a celebration of life. If you want to get a jump on things, take a quick look at Bank of America, look at Target, look at Facebook. Some things I think Keith will show you some interesting charts and some perspectives on how maybe we can use a couple option strategies to replace stock ownership and go for some bigger gains. Have a wonderful evening. Guys, take care. Be safe. We'll see you Thursday morning. Bye-bye.